Okay, hey everybody, this is Yusef and welcome to part 2 of Radiata Stories. Now if you missed part 1, obviously I have a video for it, but the long and short of it is, dude named Jack Russell wants to be a Radiata Knight because he's a legacy. And he gets on the Radiata Knights even though he's not a very good fighter. They put him on a team with a girl who's royalty named Ridley and another dude whose legacy named Gans. Ridley gets killed and gets merged with an elf, so now she's all weird. And because of this, Ridley's father, Lord Jasny, gets mad and kicks Gans and Jack Russell out of the Radiata Knights. Gans and Jack go to a guild called Theater Vancour, and Jack gets accepted and Gans doesn't. There's also a sickness spreading around the region called Algendars. It makes humans go pretty crazy, but it kills elves. Think that's it. Back to the story. While Jack is doing Theater Vancour stuff, Gans finds a kid named Cody with a kitten. He helps the kid find the kitten's mother until dusk and then gets ready to walk Cody home. But before they get there, Cody's mom, Rinka, shows up and thinks her son is being abducted. Gans should have saw that coming.
Huh?
Mom, no! You've got it wrong! The old man was helping me!
Once Cody clears up that Gans is nice, Rinka feels bad and offers him a spot in their guild. Her buddy, Flau, doesn't like him though. Gans can't catch a break. Overweight people in this game get treated like crap, by the way. Up until now, they have either been bungling idiots or ugly religious bureaucrats. Flau has no reason to dislike Gans. She just thinks he's an idiot, even though he was a Radiata Knight sergeant. Jack actually is an idiot and doors open for him everywhere. And speaking of which, Jack was napping and a lady named Yuri knocked on his door talking about her aunt Sheila was whooping up on Barbina. Jack goes to the rescue and finds out that there is a disease that makes people aggressive. He sends Yuri and Barbina away and knocks on Sheila's door. When she doesn't answer, he goes to knock the door down.
Right, now I'm mad.
She tells him Barbina had her money. However, it wasn't hers to begin with. She basically stole it. Jack points this out and Sheila is not having it.
What's that? You want to steal my money too? Well, I won't let you.
Now what did the general do here? Oh, right! Well, that's over.
After that, the knights come in and take her to the castle. This is probably connected to the lunatic that Sir Dinas had to judo chop in the castle earlier. So, after freelancing for a while, Jack is called back to the Hecton squad at the guild for a mission. Hecton is the name of the squad, by the way. Jarvis tells Jack and Daniel that they are needed to escort royalty. The castle uses Theater Vancour as escorts a lot because Radiata Knights are way too noticeable. The Hecton squad goes to the castle and finds out that they're escorting the princess herself. Her alias is Arnold for some reason.
No, stop that. Don't bow or everyone will know that she's the princess.
Arnold wants to go visit all the shops. She's excited, so she walks ahead. Now, of course, she turns the corner and gets snatched right away by the bandit guild they call the Void. The Hecton squad gives chase, but only Jack is in good enough shape for the chase. And Jack follows them into a building, into a secret passage, and then confronts them before they get away. Jarvis and Daniel catch up and they fight. And of course, Daniel gets his clock cleaned immediately because he's fat. Jack and Jarvis give chase in the sewers, but when they come out at the end, they get ambushed.
Sarge? Hold it right there, or your sergeant here loses his head.
This is getting tense. And Daniel wakes up and wisely runs back to Vancourt to get Gerald. Upon hearing this, Gerald runs off to save them immediately. The bandits are torturing Jack and Jarvis. The princess pleads for them, but the leader, Nocturne, tells her she is the one that put them in such a crappy position anyway. Then he snatches her necklace. Gerald shows up like, "What's up, Nocturne?" Seems like he knows the leader. Gerald stands ready to slice and dice.
Elmo, if you don't shut that mouth of yours, I'm going to skewer your tongue. Just like this.
Well, that was not what I was expecting.
Nocturne is a little bothered by this, so he just takes the princess's necklace and leaves with his crew. Meanwhile, Gantz, Rinka, and Flau are being pursued by knights. They escape and get back to the guild. They have stolen money from a corrupt merchant. Rinka, Flau, and now Gantz are part of the same bandit guild that kidnapped the princess, the Void. They explain to Gantz that they do more Robin Hood type thievery. Nocturne and his thugs do all the immoral stuff. They take jobs from high-level members in the castle. And they advise Gantz to not ask too many questions though. It is a bandit guild after all. Back at Vancourt, Jack wakes up in the recovery room. Gerald is pissed because Nocturne purposefully didn't kill him just to rub it in. Gerald would have rather been killed because it would mean that they were equals. Jack is like, sure. Just then, Elven, the leader, comes in and tells Gerald that the princess is okay, but the castle is pretty serious about it. They want Vancourt to investigate the Void further. Gerald starts to get up, but Elven stops him. It's time for him to train a successor. Then, out of nowhere, she just names Jack as a new general and gives him the Void assignment. The hell is that? I'm as surprised as Jack is.
Jack Russell, you are now a sergeant in the guild.
Sergeant?
The next day, Jack runs into a very large, interesting man with a Caribbean accent. He's looking for a person named Aphelion. He wants Jack to help him, so Jack, sensing a money opportunity, highballs the big dude on the price. Jack can't believe it worked as he is handed the money.
No way! Yahoo! There's more than I can count!
They go looking for Aphelion together, but the problem is, the large man has no idea what Aphelion looks like. That should make it a little harder. Apparently, Aphelion is a shapeshifter. The large man asks Jack who the strongest is in the village. And Jack believes it's Elven, so he takes the large man to Vancourt, and the man takes his leave.
Well, whatever. Check it out. I'm rich! How much is this anyway? Huh? Wait a minute. This picture. It's his own face! This money is fake! The old Weezer tricked me!
The man goes into Elwyn's office and she knows exactly who he is. Jack shows up looking for his money and Elwyn pretends he isn't there. They immediately start reminiscing about when they were vicious enemies, but now they have no reason to fight each other, so it's whatever. Elwyn tells the man she doesn't know where Aphelion is, so he leaves. And Elwyn is a little concerned because she knows something is finally happening. Later in the day, Leonard swings open the door to Jack's room, looking for him. He has an invite for Lady Ridley's birthday party. And Jack is happy she is okay and concerned he won't be able to get in. But Leonard gives Jack the invite and tells him he must come. So Jack goes to the castle, shows his invite, and gets to stroll right on in. I can't read the signs in the castle very well. I almost walked Jack into the women's restroom, and then this happened.
Is that the bathroom? Oh, this is the ladies. Oops, almost went in. Is that like a ovary sign? Or is that... Oh. You there, what do you think you're doing? Nothing, I'm not doing anything. Then why are you giggling in front of the women's restroom? I was laughing because I almost walked in and made a fool of myself. What? Was that a guy? What about him? Anyway, please refrain from any more misconstruable actions. What about that guy? I'm going after him. Sir, stop.
So Jack gets to the party and walks right up to Ridley to say hi. And Ridley is surprised to see him and apologizes immediately for getting kicked out of the castle. Jack wasn't bothered because the Radiata Knights were a little too uptight for him. Ridley is relieved for sure, but she still needs to talk to Jack about something else. But before she can say anything, that jerk Cross rolls up and questions why Jack is at the party. Jack takes that as his cue to leave.
Disgraced former members of the Knights usually aren't allowed in the castle, are they?
Cross, what are you saying? He's here because I invited him.
It's okay, forget it, Ridley. Listen, I've got to be heading back home. You ever want to talk, stop by my place anytime, okay? See ya!
You know, given how Jack acts for every other situation, including the orcs, I'm kind of surprised he showed this much restraint against Cross. But, oh well. A little later, we see Genius leading Ridley into the woods. They eavesdrop as they see Zane, the leader of the Light Elves, standing there. Genius informs Ridley that Noguera, Zane's twin brother that brought her back to life, is dead, and his body is in the tomb that Zane is staring at. Out of nowhere, Zane starts monologuing. You see, the old Elf King brought a human woman and their biracial child to live in the castle. Because of this, Dark Elves were born. I'm assuming Dark Elves are part elf and part human. Also, because of this, a disease called Algandars was born. And Algandars kills elves by preventing their soul from leaving their bodies and going to live in another body through transpiration. Just like the dying elf's soul is mingling with Ridley right now. Now, this logic is pretty far-fetched. I don't see how performing a magical ritual between souls gives you Algandars. Also, humans spread the disease all over the place? But hey, that's racism for you. It's kind of crazy how this is topical, especially today.
Human filth. How much will you make us suffer before you are satisfied? Will you take and destroy everything we have? Will you continue to spread the plague to every land in the world? Why were humans sent to try us so? Why, my brother?
Ridley asks Genius if what Zane says is true, and he says, no, of course not, but it is important to understand that elves definitely have a long-standing history with all the other races. Zane's prejudice really plays into how misinformed he is. Genius realizes that he needs to find a cure for Algendars before there are no more elves. The elves find it more helpful to blame humans and keep them out of their territory than actually figuring out what the real reason Algendars exists is. Sound familiar? Anyway, Genius tells Ridley that it is important for her to know because no human has ever received a transpiratation before. I think that's where this writing is pretty amazing. It not only speaks to how strong ignorance is when you isolate yourself and blame others for your problems, but we now have to explore how Ridley feels. She isn't a dark elf, but she has a dark elf spirit in her body, so now she might be exposing this little guy to Algendars. Or maybe his spirit will affect her in a bad way. Or maybe she will be the key to stopping Algendars altogether and save the elves with Genius's help. There are a lot of possibilities here, but I must warn all of you, JRPGs and anime are notorious for introducing some real themes and just blowing them off in the end with some crazy ass nonsense. Like, the writers will draw you into the story with some real-world consequences, and then the scale of the main conflict will get so big that the real-world problems don't matter at all. I can relate to racism. I can relate to historical prejudice. I can relate to a job dealing with an invisible hierarchy that promotes and demotes you on the whims of some higher-ups. But I've never seen one villain who has mommy issues endeavor to blow up the whole planet. Now, we can stop the planet from exploding, but solve racism? Bruh, we don't do miracles over here. So, finally, Jasny and Larks meet up to discuss the dwarves' business demands gained from the first Rose Croissant Brigade mission. They are not happy, just like Gon said. And douchebag Cross is like, let's just show up with a bunch of troops. Not to fight, but to show power. Cross says that just paying them will incentivize them to raise prices more later, and others will follow suit. Jasny and Lucian think it's a bad idea. If they set out to intimidate, then the rest of the POCs, I mean, non-humans, will probably take it as a sign to group up with each other to fight against the humans. Dynus, the head of the Knights, agrees, much to douchebag Cross's dismay. To be fair, everyone has a great point. The dwarves seem to have the only ore in the region. With the monopoly, they can control all the money and weaken Radiata over time. It doesn't seem like Radiata is exporting anything. I wonder where they get their money from anyway. I'm thinking too deep into it. Ultimately, Larks decides to send the Knights, but delicately. Of course, Cross is going to douchebag it up, just like with the Red Orc, or at Ridley's birthday party. Or when he was born and stabbed the midwife with the nearby scissors, leaving his father to finish the job. Speaking of Ridley, she's standing outside the door and asks her fiancé what happened. And he's like, lock and load, we're going to the dwarf village.
Cross, you really want to fight a fight, don't you?
As a knight, I must always be prepared to defend my country. I understand, Ridley. I know you've been under great pressure since your promotion.
Don't touch me!
You insolent wretch!
Cross leaves, Riley starts speaking in Elf, and Lucian hears this. Side rant. And also a chance to see this scene of a cute girl and her golem, so don't get mad at me, comments. Anyway, One of the things that bothers me is when a plot becomes so spread out that it has to keep reminding you about itself. They do this in a lot of CW shows. Something happens, and then the people have a little private conversation to discuss how they feel. Or in Naruto, where the artist saves time by reusing his artwork in flashbacks. This is one of those times. The writers think they need to be reminded that Ridley has an elf soul living in her body, but if you are playing the whole game, there is no way you could forget this. Most of the plot is driven by Ridley almost diving. Now, this game is pretty talkative, but they don't use this tactic too much, and I like that. Except for here, when I just typed the section in my script only to find out that it was a throwaway scene. If I thought I was going to marry someone and they slapped my hand away like that, it would change how I feel about the person later. Also, I called my wife an insolent wretch the other day, and it mattered in the plot later. I caught her trying to put eye drops in my coffee. I mean, damn, Tanya. Shit got real quick. I apologize, jeez. So the Radiata Knights roll up to the Dwarves to negotiate, and the Dwarves turn down the new terms because they can't sustain a living that way. Cross says,
Very well, but there's something you should know. Outside your village stands a brigade of Radiata's finest knights. They await only my order. I'm sure you don't want anything to happen to this valley of yours.
Ganovich, the bling bling Dwarf City mayor, I see you, pimp. He brings up a time when the Radiata Knights weren't douchebags like Cross, when they were helpful like Sir Gawain, Gonza's father. Dinas feels that shit.
Gawain brought nothing but shame upon the knights. He was a man without honor.
Then, Ganovich basically calls Cross a meathead human supremacist, and Cross is all like, I'll show you, meathead.
You can see only your own truth, and no other. But that blindness will bring tragedy down upon you and your whole race.
Damn you, you senile old fool!
So Cross goes out to get his army. Scratch that. Cross goes out to get his gang of 20 knights and has them pillage the village. What? No tanks? A little later, a blingless Donovich shows up at Jack's door and tells him that the knights have forced the dwarves into slavery. Jack is like, slavery is bad. Let's do something about it. Jack is an ally. Of course, like any ally, Jack hopes in his heart of hearts that humans aren't jackasses like Donovich says. Maybe it's just a misunderstanding. That's why Donovich is standing there looking like a dirty bum. But they don't have YouTube, so Donovich takes Jack straight to the city. And on the way there, Donovich tells Jack that Sir Gawain was his first choice, but he's out of town. And once they arrive, Jack sees Leonard standing guard in front of the village. Wait, Gantz's dad is still alive? Yeah, sorry. Anyway. Once they arrive, Jack sees Leonard standing guard in front of the village. Jack sees that this is a delicate stealth mission, but Donovich thinks they should both roll up in there and fight all the Radiata Knights head on like an idiot. I understand where he's coming from though. The dude just had his whole village enslaved. Before Donovich does something stupid, another dwarf that Donovich has never seen before walks right up to the gate to talk to Leonard. Leonard threatens him, but the dwarf force pushes poor jobber Leonard on his butt.
Come on! I've got plenty for all of you!
What is this? What's going on here? Insolent dwarf! You dare stand against me?
Insolent dwarf! This human has forgotten his place!
How dare you! What is that? It's a dragon.
I've had enough of you, human filth! I'm going to grind you down to dust!
Dinas riles up the men by reminding them that Cairn, Jack's dad, defeated the water dragon. Everyone is like, hell yeah, that's true! And charge in. They all get rocked. Even Dinas and Cross get some work.
Dragon, prepare to die! General! You fiend!
What the hell just happened?
We won?
Okay. So with the Earth Dragon dead, by an orb that Cross seemed to have tucked into his jockstrap, Donovich is disheartened and turns himself in for slavery. For some reason, he thinks running out of ore will turn the Earth Valley into a valley of death. Is that how ore works? Later in his room, Jack is thinking he should head to the castle to ask why the Radiata Knights are enslaving dwarves when he gets a knock on his door. It's Ridley. She tries to tell him he's messy, but she has a lot on her mind. And Jack tells her to have a seat on his messy bed and tell her about it. I'm sure his room smells like butt. And he is almost never home except when he is sleeping. And there is almost no ventilation. Unless that phonograph doubles as an air purifier, he's pretty much living in his own juices. Just thought I'd add some atmosphere there. You are welcome. Ridley reveals that she is heading for the City of Flowers to see Zane, the Light Elf leader who is racist against humans. And she needs answers. The transportation has her feeling really off. She feels like she is sharing her body with the other guy, which she is. And plus, Algandars has been making more and more people crazy around the kingdom. Everything is spiraling out of control for her. Oh my god.
Jack, please. Tell me what I should do. I'm afraid of myself. I don't know what's going to happen to me. I can't see the future. And that terrifies me. Jack, please help me. Jack, do something. I'm begging you.
Ridley.
I'm sorry.
Ridley?
I'm okay now. I'm sorry. I have to go.
What? Wait!
Goodbye, Jack.
At this point, the game splits based on your choice. In older games, you can have a few save files, so I normally split the saves between the two files. This is the one time an autosave does you dirty. I did this on Persona 3 to cover more friendships. Imagine in the Forsaken Kingdom for the extra ending, Jack and Daxter. If there's two endings, this is how you save a lot of time. Of course, you can save even more time by YouTubing the extra ending. But this game really has two different paths though. This is why you need me. Okay, so this is a good place to stop, where Jack has to make the decision between the non-human side and the human side. We will start on the next one as Jack goes to the non-human side, which to me is a better story. Anyway, I'll see you guys on part 3. Peace. Oh, shout out to the person who sent me a comment asking for part 2. For some reason, your comment got destroyed by the YouTube algorithm or whatever. I don't know what the heck that was, but yeah, I woke up, I saw the comment, I'm like, yeah, I better get on it. So, thank you. Thanks for putting me to task. Peace.